Hello, everybody. This is Maria Banga. Maria Banga, founder of the association Hope for the Abused and Battered. Wow, it's such an honor to be having a second series of these conversations with another founder of an organization. It's like I want to talk about organizations. I want to talk with founders of organizations. I just want to have an informal conversation with them and to know something about their journeys. We never know, right? When we talk with each other, we learn and we share, and we can collaborate with each other. That's the whole idea for me. And then what they are doing, and I'm so happy today to be hosting the one and only, my very own big sister in the struggle, Miss Belle Sonkey, founder of the Network for Solidarity, Hope and Empowerment. Now, why we have this flyer on our screen is because, well, she's running the second edition of a campaign called It Starts From Me. And as you can see from the flyer, we are still calling for volunteers to get involved, to host an event, because we want to raise awareness, to stop the rape culture. We want to stand against rape. And so, reach us by WhatsApp. I mean, I'm a volunteer and I'm actually championing the Douala, the activities in Douala. So I'm so excited. We are going to have this conversation. We will start from the organization and our experiences, and then we will move on into domestic violence, because this is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. And then we will get to the campaign. And if you can see the banner there is a link to donate, a GoFundMe to donate to the campaign. I'm going to put that in the comment section. We really need your support. Last year was the first edition. She's going to explain to us. And then we also organized a solidarity walk, sensitization and solidarity walk. So we've come a long way in so short a time. And she is also my go-to person, seriously, on all accounts. And with her, it's really like off limits. No conversation is off limit. So I'm so excited. I'm going to bring her in. Hey, grandson, welcome, welcome, welcome.
Hello, my general, as I call. How are you today?
I'm fine, thank you. I really try to make up so that I look as good as you look, and
Wow, we're trying to fight that the goal that is coming up. We have to fight it and look like, you know. Unfortunately, I'm off the market.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm still there, so at least I have every reason to do what I do. So, how are you?
I am good. I'm good. It's only too hot in Gao, but we're making it. It's hot, but
Where's Gao?
what can we do? In the north of Mali.
Oh, but in the north, not even in the central, not even in the capital city.
No.
I've never been to
I'm in
Mali,
the
but I
middle
don't
of
think I
the
want to go
Sahel.
there
I'm
and
in
go
the
to the
middle of
north.
the Sahel.
Oh, wow.
I'm in the middle of the Sahel, yeah.
The desert itself.
Yeah, I'm in the
Oh, my
middle of the
goodness.
Sahel. That's it.
How long have you been there? Are you used to being there now?
Yeah, I've been in the north since 2018, so it's 2 years going to 3 years soon. So it's always a pleasure, because if I'm not here, some activities cannot go on out there. So what I pay back to my community is what I work here. That's why I say, you can't be more blessed when you give back to your community, which is something that has always been. I think I started it very young, and it's a legacy from my dad of blessed memory.
You were
He
such a
always used to
community
tell
man
me.
too. Your dad was a
Well,
community man too.
yeah, I think I inherited it from him. They used to call him Captain of Heart. when he was
Oh,
a
wow.
captain. He was captain of
Oh,
hearts. So it's his
oh.
legacy that, yeah, it's his legacy. You have a lot of people out there who can talk, well, if they still remember. While I was in the university, I used to lodge them for free. You know, the municipality, some of them were staying there for free. So it's something that it's a long story. It's not, I didn't start the community, supporting my community today. It's something that I've been doing for since I was very young. So that's that. So
How do
I
you
need to
feel
be
about the
endowed to
journey?
be able to carry out some activities back home. Yeah, without which I
Okay.
cannot. So yeah, so that's it.
Wow. So, I mean, from what you say, it means that you are actually funding these activities from your own work, and that is not usually what some of us do or some people back here do. We look for grants, we look for all of that, and sometimes it leads us to either go through stuff or get so overwhelmed and maybe even become dishonest and all of those kind of things. And in the end, some organizations have actually, some have closed. I remember when I was starting, somebody told me that, well, some don't survive the first year, and if you survive the third year, then they will know that you are for real. So I'm like, what do you think?
Ah, I think what people say it's real, but the problem is like you need to have a vision, because it's like, okay, this the N4SHE has been on standby for legalization for over 15, 20 years.
You told me
Because
so.
yeah, until last year when you had to help me do it, like people have never, I don't know, my vision, and that it was like transferring that legacy, like continuing from where my late dad left it, formalizing it. That's what I had wanted to do. It has been a dream to make it formal. I didn't do that because I wanted to feed from N4SHE. No, instead I'm paying back to my community through N4SHE. Like you should know, because as I call you my general, there's nothing you don't know. If you know yourself, that if it's tight on yourself, you can reach out and tell me you have this victim, this person needs support, and you know how many cases we've dealt with as a partner organization. We've paid tuition to a couple of them, even the other lady who had her issues with her husband who could not pay, or your neighbor, something like that. These are some of the things we do. So for me, it's formalizing paying back to my community. Like for me, that's it. I don't expect, maybe in 10 years when I retire from what I am doing, I will be a full time, like I will do full time, not really still even expecting from N4SHE to feed me, because I would have had a good pension which could keep me, and then that's it. It's for me, it's just this, is to have a formal structure where I can really account for how I paid back to my community. You know what I mean? I can say, okay, I paid A, B, C, D, I did A, B, C, have some traceability. That is it. So the network really is self-sponsored. It's not because we have so much. It's not because we have so much. I have some friends who support. I have some friends who support $100 there, $50, 10,000 here. We've been asking for funding for activities, because like current activities, we need at least 6 million. But how are we going to do it? That's why we created my focal point in the US, created this GoFundMe campaign. We having something, so at least we cannot spit on the little we have. At least it's helping. So for me, it's like N4SHE is here to stay. N4SHE is here to stay. It has already beaten the statistic of if you can survive 1 year. So we're surviving, and we're here to stay, and we're going to do bigger things with people. We're going to do bigger things with people who can join. Because for me, as a person or as a visionary, my idea is, for example, we're talking today about rape. It's not N4SHE that is winning. Is the cause of the cause, which is rape, domestic violence. that win. So that is why you look in our strategy on the call for volunteers. We're calling out for people to volunteer in their communities. If you look at it, it's to volunteer in your community, because by so doing, we're trying to do the primary prevention of rape. Because we all know how expensive, you and me, we know. We spent the baby Judy. Imagine if we didn't stand by her and her family, that child would have been dead by today. That we're talking of at least £1 million that was spent on treating her, undergoing 4 surgeries. It's Cameroonian community. So for me, it's the success of the cause, the fight against rape. For me, it's not N4SHE. And I think that's why you and me, we get along. We get along so much because we look at the causes. We don't look. We distance ourselves sometimes from our organization. So for me, that is what is the winner, and this is what I am doing. This is what my heart. When I look around and I say no, I have to support somebody. I'm doing it out of like I have to sacrifice my bottle of champagne I have to drink in the weekend and do that. I say, okay, this money, maybe the $50 that I'm buying champagne can pay tuition for a child. So I put it, that's my I sacrifice my luxury for somebody who needs it. So that is the idea behind. And I also want to just like thank my partner, him, Dr. Wane, who's been very supportive in my initiative. He's there. He's I can call him my personal advisor. He's my personal advisor. Yeah, he's
Just
my
like you are
personal
my own.
advisor. Come again?
Just like you are my own.
Yeah, yeah. He is. He. Like he's somebody. I listen to. I might not like tell him more often, but sometimes what he says, I like I translate what he tells me most of the time. So that's it. At least you need people like that. I have other friends like where I work. I have friends I share the initiative. There's some who tell me what to do. I have another person who's telling me we have to launch this in her country. It's not something that I'm keeping to myself. It's some initiative that I'm trying other people, like the more people we get in fighting causes, the better the better for our community. So that is why for me, you see the title, it starts from me. It starts from me and then it goes to some person. So that is the situation. Because if it ends with me, then we have a problem.
So before we go to domestic violence, the organization culture in Cameroon, you and I don't want to say so new, but we are new, right? Because we were looking from the outside, we were so full of zeal. I think you have even been in this for longer than myself. And then we kind of got formalized and we got in and we had high hopes. We set up together against rape, but in the end, we were disillusioned. What makes an organization, I mean, kind of work, and what is it? How do you know an organization is working? Is it by how much money you are having, or the impact, or stuff like that? What do you think?
For me, it's the impact. For me, you can have the millions you want, but if you do not create an impact and then you're not working, then you're there for something else. If you remember, we had this conversation. You were a little bit down, and I told you no. When we count the impact we have, the moment I get one person speaking out or speaking up against rape, for me, that's the impact that this conversation, which we have been normalizing for some time now, it's creating. One person speaking up, for me, it's a victory. That means that 1,000. We usually have sometimes 1,000 views. We usually have 1,000 views. But what is the impact? You have people who have 5,000, 50,000 views. What is the impact of what they are saying? Did it impact one person? For me, today, I can say that what we've been doing for the past 2 years and more has an impact on our community. Because today, people stand up and speak out against rape. People are changing the way they think about rape. And for me, like it's working. It will take the time that it's going. I don't expect rape to end today. I don't expect it to end today. I'm looking at the long run. I'm looking at the long run. You saw the impact we had when we launched the first edition of this campaign at Plateau Bilingual. You saw how people came out. That's the same thing we had in Yaoundé. You saw people talking. So people just need this. People just need this forum where they can, like they can talk, they can speak out. So if people speak up in such forums, and then that they can start talking in their community, for me, this means it's working. I'm looking at in 5 years, you can't, it's not going to end because rape is as old as the universe. In the Bible, we hear about rape. I told you about the 80-year-old woman who talked about being raped 65 years ago. And she's talking 65 years after. You know what it means? It means that she didn't have an opportunity then to talk. She didn't have an opportunity. Today, it was the how do I call it? The power of ritual. She saw a t-shirt, stop rape, non-ovule, and she walked towards this person and had this conversation and had that, felt as somebody can hear me today. And she talked about her rape and the effect it had on her life because she divorced. She divorced her husband because she was still having the trauma of rape in her relationship, in her marriage. So she's been divorced for almost 50 years today. So you see, I'm looking at in 5 years' time, rape will not be existing in our community because we might have had better laws. People might have been taking, talking, educating their kids, feeling free to talk to their kids. So today I'm looking at primary prevention. So we don't go into children are raped. Oh, we don't have money. We have to sell our children's virginity for 50,000, for 100,000. I'm looking at the long run of this. I'm not looking at the immediate, because if you're looking at it immediately, and then you're going to have a lot of issues. We have to look at the impact it's going to create in 5 years. So for me, the impact is a lot of people will have been aware that rape is wrong. A lot of boys or girls who rape will know that do not rape. They will have to know that consent is required. These are all the things I don't look at today. I look at in 5 years, the impact of this starts from me ending sexual violence in my community. It's not going to finish today. For example, in the US, when we talk about women's rights, that it took them so many years to attain a certain level. Uh, the Women Protection Act is 25 years old now. It was, and this is a developed right. So we walked in. I think the strides we are taking, for me, really it's good. It's a good one. It's a good move. It will take the time that it will take. Policymakers will see into it, and then they will make the laws. In other countries, rape is a national emergency. Why not in Cameroon? Why not in Cameroon? So it's going to take the time that it's going to take, but we're going to get there as long as we are alive and God gives us long life.
And then we organizations who are involved in rape, fighting rape, whether it's prevention or it's care, all of that, we can come together for campaigns, and then do it without budging who is championing, who is not championing, whose logo goes left, whose logo goes right. And then after that, we can continue doing our own different activities, right?
That is it. We
Okay.
should be able to partner for causes.
Mm-hmm.
Today, H4AB, it's volunteering under my flagship. It's the cause that is winning. It's not N4SHE, because we should be looking at the cause. What is the cause? Ending rape in our communities. Whoever
Yeah.
it is, whoever is taking the leadership should not be a problem. Whoever is doing what should not be the problem. We should be looking at ending rape in our communities. And this is what is more important. This is the
I mean,
importance of
I,
what
I
we want.
value our partnership. I'm like, no, anytime. And I know that is the same support you give me if I have to do something. So I think that is what more organizations will be doing. And maybe they didn't know that. So I'm going to, talk to a few other ones. I know not all can come. And then maybe they will see how successfully we work together, and they'll think, well, together we do better. Let's not write let's not write off, because maybe the first time we tried it didn't work, and we say no, we are not trying again.
Yeah.
Because alone, you see, we cannot do as much. The campaign.
We
I
cannot do as
came in
much.
and I'm putting it everywhere, and people are joining. But if it's just one person, and then in the end, as you say, is the cause. So with that said, I'm very happy. The next thing now I want us to talk about domestic violence. This is Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and I know that you and I take it very serious and personal, and at the same time, we wonder sometimes if we should even continue raising the awareness. If we haven't raised enough awareness by now, I don't know what you think.
Uh, However, yeah, I think we can continue. We cannot stop. For those who have ears, should listen. And you cannot pressurize somebody. I remember I was just talking with somebody. 2018, I did the domestic violence awareness series, which was a write up every day of the October month. And it's still there, it still comes up. There are days I forget to redo, like to do a throwback. People who did not know that we were existing in 2018 can continue from today. I think I should say this: your life matters. Any woman who has not realized that their life matters is suicidal. I'm sorry, because I
Wow.
don't want to say, yeah, you are suicidal if you don't know that domestic violence is wrong. That's committing suicide, because nobody nobody should live with a blue eye. Nobody should be assaulted because in the name of love, because love does not hurt.
No,
Love is joy.
it shouldn't.
Love is joy. Love is joy. uh we're talking, like, we people also look at the domestic abuse only as the physical. Psychologically, some people, we women, we know how to psychologically abuse our men, but we have to be very careful. And it doesn't only concern only intimate partners. We have children under our nieces, our nannies, and everything. They make part of our family. So we have to be very careful. We have to stop abusing them. We have to stop abusing them, because the way we treat the people in our household, that is what they will transmit tomorrow. I always tell people, long life is not guaranteed to any person. Imagine you are maltreating somebody's child in your house, and tomorrow something happens to you. What will happen to your kid? What will happen to your kid? Your kids will have to go through what you did to some other person's child. So we have to be very, very careful. I always take this commandment from the Bible. One of the commandments, my best ever: love your neighbor as yourself. Love your neighbor as yourself. It means that do not hurt somebody's child because they are not your child. Domestic violence is not only between husband and wife. It is violence that exists within a domestic cycle. It means even the dogs in your house, they're part of your domestic cycle. So you don't have to abuse them.
I think of
You
Max.
don't, yeah. I see the way you treat Max. Max is your family. You have some people who even treat animals better than they do to their mates. You have women who get into relationship with men who had children. Men too who get into relationship with women who had children, and you start abusing these children. No, if you cannot raise somebody's child, please leave them alone. Don't go and take them from the village and come start abusing them. No, it is unacceptable. This is something I will preach until I go to my grave, because for me it's like, do not maltreat anybody. Do not abuse anybody. Be you a man, a woman, or a child. These are some of the things we have to, like we have to draw the line. And I understand sometimes that some of these people, they have to bear some of these abuses because of their economic condition. No, you cannot. We know stories where men take kids from the village and bring to assist, and the girls become their sex slaves. These are some of the things. This is, like, this is domestic violence. You not only you take the child, you think that the child is comfortable in your house. The child is comfortable in your house, but you're abusing them sexually. That is unacceptable. That is unacceptable. If you want a sex slave, go pay for the services. Go pay for the services. This is something we have to talk about. Do
And the
not take
worst
someone
one is,
and abuse them sexually.
sorry, Ganse, and the worst one is if the man is even married. So you're being unfaithful to your wife and abusing a child in the house.
Yeah.
So the
And
domestic
sometimes some
violence is all
women,
over
they
the
know
place.
about it.
Oh my
And the
goodness.
women, they know about. Some women, do you remember the case? I don't know whether you were on this platform when they talked about this woman whose daughter was raped by the husband, and she said, oh, she's going to deal with it in the room, at home. It happened in Douala. This is
Oh my
unacceptable.
goodness. I know
We
the
have the
one where
case.
the daughter got pregnant, she sent the daughter to the village.
That is it. These are some of the cases. There's so many cases out there. You have the case of a housemaid who was raped by by this man, and she went and told the wife, thinking that the wife would protect her, and the wife instead sent her away and said the adultery part will be dealt with in as a family. These are some of the things that we need to stop. These are
Maybe
some of the things.
that wife herself has already been so violated that she's lost her self-esteem, lost everything. So, well, she's just like, I don't know.
Yeah. That
So
let's
now coming to your campaign, yes, you want to say something before we go to the
okay.
campaign?
That's okay. Somebody was at the door.
Oh,
That's
okay.
fine. Yeah,
Yeah, I
with
want
you.
us to stay on the campaign because I don't know if people in our communities are used to such campaigns, but what I know is when I went to get the authorization for the work, the deal, or no, the SDO, he when he was signing the authorization, he was like, "What kind of a work is this?" And it's like he has never signed any authorization for a work on against rape. So it's like that's not even something people talk about or people even want people to be talking about. I don't know. So we did the first campaign. You did the first campaign, and I mean, you saw how it went, and I was like, maybe people are not so ready for this kind of thing, but yeah, you're doing the second one, and it would appear, well, more is happening in the community now, and people are getting more concerned. So, what is your plan with this campaign?
This campaign this year is reaching out more people. We did. If I have to take the virtual part of the campaign we did last year, we did. Like we were on this practically almost every other week. We're talking about rape in different forms, and I want to think that it had an impact. And today, if you remember, during the 16 days of activism last year, with the team Generation Equality Stands Against Rape, we had a group of girls who I named the Amazons of SWA. I think today they
Yes,
know them in the whole of SWA because they turned SWA upside down, campaigning against rape, talking about rape in their communities. And
I
this
was
is
so
the
proud
reason
of
why this year we've called for volunteers, and so far we have about 40 volunteers. We are targeting Douala, Yaoundé, Boya, Tiko, Bangem, Chang, Bafoussam, Bagante, Betwa. So this is what we want to try to get people everywhere. We want to get more people talk about it. We want this conversation to be on everybody's lips. You know what I mean? You see, like I'll take a stupid example. I'll take the Plateau. We had about 135 people at Plateau. Meanwhile, we have over 600 parents at Plateau bilingual. Today, and when the parents heard about it, they asking Mama, when I when are these people coming back again? We need to join. We need to join. So it's not an issue. It's an issue of normalizing this conversation. We need to normalize this conversation, whether people like it or not. One person is going to, when one person picks it up, the whole community will follow. It's like this other lady was telling me about in her community. She doesn't want to hear a child cry. She gets out of her house to know what is happening because she's been, like because of these sensitization things, she goes to, when a child cries in the neighborhood, she goes out. And this is one of the reasons. You see, for example, the case that came up yesterday where this man, where this, how do you call it, where this man had been raping her 9-year-old, only for it to be revealed that he killed his wife 6 years ago. It's a neighbor. We have to be our neighbor's keeper. We have to
And
be our neighbors.
It was not only the 9-year-old, the 7-year-old. I think the 2 children.
2 children. So you see, and until we are our neighbors' keepers, you see, until we are at our neighbor's keeper, we see the case of baby Marvel in Boya. If this lady did not go, because trying to be the neighbor's keeper, because the grandpa had been raping an 8-year-old child, she went to pick up this child, that the child should not sleep in cell with this man. So only for her to discover this child too was defiled, violated, 18-month-old child. So this thing, as we say, being your neighbor's keeper, it's a plus. It's helping us. Like we might neglect the magnitude of what we are doing. For me, it's like every small little conversation has an impact. It goes in the ears of one person who will change that community, because the change you want in your community starts from me. It doesn't start from any other person. If you want your child not to be raped, you have to take care of your neighbor's child.
Wow.
Yes, you have to take care of. If everybody acts like what this woman in Sa did, she went and reported. Like she called upon this little girl, talked to the girl, and when the girl confided that she was raped, what happened? She went to the brigade commander, and I want to applaud this brigade commander, because he took one case to elucidate 2 other cases. 2 crimes, because that's if this rape case was not reported, he will not have known that, he will not have discovered that this man had he opened this case. So that is also the good thing, that the family had signaled that their daughter had disappeared. You see how many others are walking outside there. We need to cleanse our community, and I say we need to get back to the 70s, where parents used to be, you used to be a mother of the community. I understand fully well you want to protect your child, but excuse me, your child is a friend of your neighbor. So you have to have an eye there. You cannot live in an island when you have children.
Let me say something, and I know I've talked about it with you, but you know how my son almost got, I don't know how I'm going to call it, derailed by my neighbor, right? The neighbor gave him a USB key with I don't know how I'm going to call it, obscene content in that USB key. 1 year later, he is still thinking about those kind of things. If I was not vigilant enough, and when I got hold of that, I went to the neighbor, I raised hell, and I talk in the whole neighborhood. Actually, we are having a meeting, either this evening or sometime. I'm trying to get them to know that a campaign is coming up. So yes, I mean, in my community, when I came into this community, it was fighting all over the place, beating children anyhow, beating partners, and I was like, no, we cannot do that. And I got the women together, and I'm like, no, we can't. We can't, for example, be fighting back, and we cannot be letting them beat us. We can do this, we can do that. All what I say online are things that I say, I talk in my community here. So I do agree with you, especially as we know in our African tradition, it takes a village to raise a child. Unfortunately, we are now so scared of our villages. We are scared of each other, and it's like we have to start changing that narrative all over again.
We should indeed. I don't want to, like, you have to be, there's certain ills that only you as a parent can see. And that is like when you have a child who is abused, you can recognize it and take action. It could be your neighbor's child, who your neighbor is negligent. Your neighbor might not have that eye, but you as a neighbor, you will see it. But the problem is the hostility sometimes people have towards you. But however, I think you have to be persistent in wanting that change for your community. Let them call you the mad woman, but if you want that change, and it will only, like, you will tell them, they might not take you serious at that moment, but at a certain point, it's going to down on them.
Because it's going to stay there. Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to stay there. It's going to stay there whether we like it or not, whether we like it or not. And then also, this campaign will also let to know people. Let me say, we know cases where people go to the police and the police negotiates the perpetrator and this thing and things like that. No, if we continue doing such practices, we continue such practices, we're not going to end that. Because out of misery, some parents sacrifice their kids. Because the trauma of rape, you've seen a baby, we've seen baby do this thing, how I still have that picture. Sometimes I have to, like, I try to look at it, and I have to, like, we see how it was, like, it's like, it made me I could not eat beef for some time. Yeah, I could not eat beef for some time. These are some of the things. We have friends today who do not have children, who are declared barren. What happened to them when they were babies? We have the Cameroonian musician who came out to talk about her case. She can't remember who did it, but it's because of the effect she has. The effect she has. Like, these are some of the trauma. We have a lot of women. I have another lady who I'm talking with, because she's taking care of a rape victim, of a survivor. Let me use that word survivor, because most of the kids don't survive. This survivor was raped by the dad. So she was telling me that somebody attempted to rape her, but she has an issue. She's married. She has an issue because every time her husband tries to be intimate with her, she's just like, she thinks about all that.
The flashback.
She thinks about all that. Yeah, it's terrible. It's really terrible. So we have to keep on talking. We have to keep on talking. We have to do primary prevention more, so it doesn't even happen. We have to teach men. We have to teach the boys, do not rape.
So let me come back to the campaign. This rape culture. Talk to us about the rape culture. What have you yourself observed? You are you're kind of outside and inside. What have you observed from outside and from inside?
Okay. Talking about the rape culture. When we talk about rape culture, it's people justifying rape. When people justify rape, they're promoting rape culture. It means that they give a reason why people should be raped. Oh, indecent dressing. I want to think that, as statistics say, 80% of the rapists or perpetrators of rape are known by the victim. And it happens most of the time in the household or in the neighborhood. I posted a conversation I had with somebody, and I called him a rape apologist. He promotes rape. And this conversation was like, he's like, like, you're talking about, can you be teaching girls how to dress decently? And I tell him, me, I wear them really short, and nobody has ever attempted. I don't think it ever happened because I was, and he's like, and I gave him the statistics. I said, I said 50%. I went to the minimum. 50% of rape victims are below 15 years. And he's like, however, and then for those between 15 and 20 years old were raped in their uniforms. So now we're talking about the remaining 20%, or those who are, excuse me, And he's like, oh no, but you still have to. And I asked him, okay, I see in your house. I see you in your house. You have your girls wearing booty pants, wearing this and that and whatsoever. How many have you raped? You know his answer? Oh no, they're my kids, they're my nieces, they're my nephews and whatsoever. I said, but they still wear the shorts. It's like, but not everybody rapes. And I'm like, okay, so for your information, you should be raping your kids. You should be raping your nieces. You should be raping your neighbor's children. It means you are a rapist. Because if you say because they wear these booty things and things like that, they should rape them. He's like, no, not everybody rapes. I said, no. I said, let me tell you something. I want us to address indecent dressing as a topic. We should never mix it up. We should never mix it up with rape. Let's discuss indecent dressing as a topic itself. I will take for example, you can dress somewhere. I will not go to work with a very, like with a booty short or with a booty skirt, like what I mean, the under skirt or things like that. We can start talking about indecent dressing. It would depend on the environment where you are. In Europe, for example, in summer, you just saw my skirt. That was 7 years back. That's how I wear them. I feel very comfortable wearing short clothes. But it's not because I'm calling someone's attention. It's a choice I make to feel comfortable and I feel pretty. Who tells you that I don't like when men look at my good legs? I have great legs. Who tells you I don't like to show them off? That does not amount to indecent dressing. You know what I mean? I should be having my breast outside and, like, you can say, okay, this one maybe, like things like we should discuss indecent dressing as a subject. It shouldn't be, because when you start attributing it to rape, you are promoting rape culture, which is something we have to, we have to separate.
Because many of the cases that I myself have dealt with and we have dealt with are children, and the oldest child was Nadesh, who was she was 17 at the time, and she was defied by her stepbrother in the house. Nadesh was not dressed at that time like indecent. I mean, none of my victims, I can say, was dressed indecently. None of those I work with, and I've worked with 33. None of them. None. Even the little boy, how was he dressed? These little children, baby Marvel, I saw her with my eyes. How was she dressed? The two children inside yesterday, how were they dressed?
I know.
How many are we going to quote? Only this 2020. How many cases have we learned of? How were those victims? How were those children dressed? The ones we are talking about, the IDP children. How are they dressed? I saw one of them. I have seen their pictures even. All of them are so like, oh my goodness. Seriously, now I get what. And also the families,
You can't tell somebody not to. We are in a free society. You can't tell a girl not to walk, not to go out in the evening. No. You should tell me that there will be, like, this is some of the things. This is some kind of, because you're trying to justify rape. Promoting rape culture, we should stop promoting rape culture. A child should be free to walk in their community knowing that I can trust anybody. This rape thing is a breach of trust. We saw the case where somebody left his children with his friends. I think the child was 6 years, who he raped again just a couple. Is it happening in Konsamba? Something like that. Was that child was given, and he says the devil. People should leave the devil out of it. People should leave the devil. The devil is not part of your madness. Seek help. They should leave the devil. The devil is not part of this thing. It is you as a person.
Even if you were that devil, shouldn't you instead now go to see your man of God or whoever to cast that devil out of you instead of acting on the urges?
That is it.
Okay, so how do we, apart from, join, how many volunteers do you think you would like to have? I mean, if all goes well, because I want to really put this call for action.
As long as we can storm the whole of Cameroon, I don't mind. let's see what we can do. We do with what we can. We do with what we can. We a t-shirt. You got some t-shirts already that will be dropped in schools that with the letters. So the logistic is really going on, and then the posters. We're planning on posters in schools. So the posters will be out by next week. So we'll send it. We'll send it to the different. We'll send it to the different locations. The posters, like those who are in other regions will have the t-shirts and the posters at the same time by next week, so they can already, because I was expecting that by this weekend we know already the number of locations, so we can do the 100. We produce 104 t-shirts already, 30 going to Yaoundé, 30 going to stopped in Douala. So we're going to see the other regions. It's going to depend on their participation. We're going to send next week the posters. The posters are a little bit bigger that they can paste in every, like schools, they can put in the entrance of the school and things like that. So we have at least one or two posters. If it's in a church, you put it at the door of the church and things like that. So these are some of the things we work in. So if only any church is going to host us, but I think I'm going to be back home, and then I'm going to talk to some elders and to some pastors and see if we can pass by. We don't mind. We don't mind. We really need to storm. We really need to storm. We really need to storm places, be it churches, be it hospitals. We did Bethesda last year. Because sometimes also the prison charge, because sometimes these hospitals, they need to be sensitized to know that their medical certificates are not considered by the state in case of making a claim, of filing a suit. So these are some of the things that they need to know. So if they do a medical checkup, they have to liaise with the government hospital. So some of this, like in Bethesda, we had a little V who was raped, like when she was 13, 14. She was taken care of by that hospital, and like when we talk to them, the prices are negotiated. So these are some of the things we're trying to do, because it's not easy. We know that the government, the medical legal certificates are about 10,000, but already the treatment can be done in these hospitals at a reduced price. So these are some of the things we're trying to do. Yeah, so we really want to, like, the more people we get, the better. The more people we get, the better. We have already about, I want to put 40 volunteers for the places I said. So we'll see what we can see. I know Douala, we had a list of about 24 or 25 schools. I hope we can do the 25 schools. If we do that 25 school and every school is 100 person, we are already on 2,500 people sensitized, but I think the numbers are more. The numbers are going to be more. It's already something, you know what I mean? Because every school is in a community, so the message is going to go.
Okay, well, so that's good. So we are going to look at schools. We could also look at hospitals, as you've said. We could also look at maybe the community groups, like the cultural associations on the Jangis, because they're really the ones who live with these children too. So you never can tell. And then when maybe church, and then so let's focus on those four. And then, well, maybe the media, right? Because people watch TV, people listen to stuff. Many people are also on social media.
We're going to get a couple of maybe slots on on TV. We're going to try. I know Shine Africa proposed to host me when I come to Cameroon. That will be before the launch of the event. So we have a couple of friends who are we can ask them to host us and see, like, let's talk. They too, they're part of it. I will reach out to Welly and let's see what we can do. Because it's going to be like, it's going to start in November and go as far as maybe the end of December, when school close for schools. And then, we can, I think for schools it's before they have their first term break. Yeah, it should be before their first term break, and that's it. So that's that word. Yeah.
Okay, well, so I want to thank you. I want to encourage people to join the campaign train. The number is there on the banner.
Yeah.
237 plus 237 652 956 343. And there's also the GoFundMe. That's very important because, I mean, she alone cannot sponsor this whole thing. And we have yes, that is the GoFundMe there account. Every little dollar counts. Every CFA for those who cannot contribute into the GoFundMe account. Maybe they don't have. They're not out there. Those who are in Cameroon. I don't know if that WhatsApp number also has mobile money. Does it? It does.
Yes, it does have a Momo, so they can put it in the Momo account. It's a Momo
Okay.
account, and just say and put for so put it's the campaign, rape campaign.
Okay. Okay. So I'm going to do a better
Yeah,
write up after this and say join the campaign or
yeah,
support through Momo. 1,000, two
yeah,
thousand. I can vouch for the power of community support. When people believe in it, you know they can chip in, and then the impact, as you say, if we save one life
yeah,
or we make more people aware of what's happening and where they can go to and who can help them and why it's very important to take action. Like go to the
yeah.
hospital immediately to prevent the STD
HIV, unwanted pregnancy.
pregnancies. That is true. Okay, well, so if there's any final word, and then we go. We've been on for like 55 minutes. I was looking at
Wow.
45, but there we go.
Yeah. Yeah. So I just want to thank all those who have contributed already, because we have some money already in the GoFundMe. It's going to help. Every penny counts. Every dollar count. Every CFA count. The Momo account is there. Just put it if you want to. Also, we will need some people who are really bilingual, because in Cameroon we have people. We need to go to some schools where we'll need the francophones, because it's not an anglophone course. It's a Our community is made of, if even if we have people who don't understand English and French, who can go to the Njangi houses and talk in their dialect, like the message will be clear. Like just last year, it's going to talk about recognizing rape, responding to rape, reporting rape. That will be our key messages. It's going to be like what happens and the effect. That's it. What Everybody is involved, and we really need to do it. And like as I say, just one person cannot do it. We already about 40 volunteers. So imagine that we go to 40 localities. That's already we're talking to about. For me, it's like I'm looking at the long-term impact. That is we are looking at the long-term impact. We're not looking at the immediate. But I bet you in 2-3 years we will hear less of rape, because people now know that they are normalizing the conversation on rape, and we will not stop. And I want to thank you always for like giving me this platform, to really talk about N4SHE, which is also, I can say, it's also I want to call it your adopted baby. And for she's your adopted baby, because you help to birth it. Like you were part of the molding process, of part of the finalization, because
And I
without
fought
you I
for
would
it
still be.
because they kept
Yeah,
transferring one person to the other and they kept
the
telling me
other.
stories, and I was like, no, no, no,
Yeah,
no, no.
yeah. Just like you, that's what people have been going through for the past 15 years, and your persistence made it possible. So that is it. I will end by telling people, normalize the conversation around rape. Help your kids, know your kids. Let's build a better society, and be the change you want for your community. Be your neighbor's keeper. And that's all I have to say today. And I will see you. I will see you. Just follow us, and you will have the date that we are coming to your community. We'll send out the information about that. When we have the complete date, we'll come back on this platform and come up with like, okay, Douala will be doing this on that day, this on this day. If you are around, join the
Yes,
platform, and that's it.
we
That's what we'll come back some other time.
we
Yeah.
sure we
Thank you
do
so
that.
much.
Thank you so, so much. I would say, on one hand, if we can even get to the point where people don't rape again, it would be like, oh my goodness, we will not even need to be recognizing, reporting, and responding and reporting because they will be known. But as you said, it's not going to end just now. No, 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 no. So I don't want to dream that big, and we see how things keep happening. So it's very
Yeah.
important that we keep having this conversation. I want to thank you so much for helping me stay afloat, when I was like really getting frustrated and wanting to just give up, and you were like, no, the impact is what you should be focusing on. Thank you so much. Sometimes people say it's hard to take your own medication, so I cannot be
Yeah.
about hope, and then I don't hold that hope for myself. So thank you so
Yeah.
much, and we will be back. I will host you back again. I just love having
Yeah.
a conversation with you about all or nothing. And yes,
Yeah.
Dwala is meeting on Friday. You can count on me. I don't even need to tell you that again. You can
Yeah.
count on H4B. Everything will be put at Dwala's disposal so that we have a great campaign in Douala. And I hope you can be here for our launch. Oh my goodness.
Sure.
It really starts from me. I'm going to get
Yeah.
everybody involved. Yeah, my son is here and he's saying I will come. And I'm like, of course you will come. Thank you
We need
so
all of
much,
them, and
everyone.
they should be the trailblazers. They
You
should be
would
the
be.
ones talking to their friends. They should be talking to their friends. They should pull their friends. They
That
should
is
pull their
true.
friends to join. That is it. And their friends to have to pull their friends.
That is true.
That is it. Yeah.
I'm
So
even adding
we
their own
count on all
school
of
into
them.
the list of the schools that we want to write to. I'm doing
Okay.
that. Thank you
Okay.
so
Okay.
much,
Thank you.
Master. All the best.
Thank you. Okay.
Bye.
Bye.